Welcome to the TMZ podcast. Derek here with Devin. I'm filling in for Charlie Cotton, who is on assignment.
He's out in the field.
He's in the field.
He's doing what he does best, actually.
And he's covering the story that is just sort of swept through Hollywood that we're going to cover basically exclusively here. He's at the courthouse for Nick Reiner's arraignment today, obviously in the tragic Rob Reiner, Michelle Reiner double homicide case. So we're going to cover and catch everyone up on what's going on in that case, because there have been a lot of developments even in just the past 24 hours since we had the last podcast.
Correct.
Devin, where are we in terms of the charges against this kid?
So yesterday, he was supposed to be arraigned, right? Nick was supposed to appear in court with his attorney. He did not show up. So he was medically not cleared to appear in court yesterday. So it got delayed till today.
Yeah. So medical clearance, just to, legally, in order to be arraigned and you appear in court, they announce the charges against you. You typically enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. You have to be with it. You have to be aware of what's happening to you. And not being medically cleared means something probably related to drugs still in his system that impaired his awareness, maybe an acute psychosis that led to all of this.
Because he was put on, which is pretty common in cases like this, he was put on suicide watch in jail. So I think at first you were thinking, okay, he's not all the way mentally there. But then I was seeing some stuff online that it actually could be that if there are drugs still in your system, that they'll take blood tests every day. And until those blood tests are clean, you cannot be charged.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like what could be going on and lines up with, he has a history of substance abuse. By his own admissions, that was causing a lot of strife in his family, may have been part of the argument he had with his parents at Conan O'Brien's holiday party. So drugs in his system are certainly going to be tested for before you appear in court for your arraignment, and that could have been the impediment. It could also be related. There could be a drug-induced psychotic state that you're in that you need to be cleared by a therapist and by a battery of tests and doctors in order to go in and be charged.
So Nathan Hochman, the DA of LA, came out pretty strong yesterday.
Yeah.
He held a whole press conference after the arraignment was canceled, essentially saying they're going to be formally charging him with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
With special circumstances.
What is the special circumstance?
So the special circumstances are, in this case, that he killed more than one person during the event. So multiple deaths. And the reason that's important, obviously, first-degree murder is the most serious charge you can face. It is premeditated murder with malice aforethought. So that is a charge that carries possibility of life without parole. Now, if you add special circumstances in California, you can put the death penalty on the table. So these special circumstances make that available. In California, it's very hard. I was
going to say, I thought in California, I was under the impression we no longer had the death penalty.
So it's a very complicated history. That is technically available under our statutes, that the death penalty is available. But since 2019, Gavin Newsom said, moratorium. There's no more death penalty that we're going to do here in California. And in fact, no one's been executed, I believe, since 2006. So it's been a very long time since California has done executions. But there's a symbolic or a gesture sort of that is, you can go for the death penalty. You can have a death sentence that doesn't get actually
executed. He said
that
they could possibly do that in this case.
He did say that. And this is an icon. Rob Reiner and Michelle Reiner, they are Hollywood legends of a sort. And so this death has rocked this community, and it's possible that they would go for it. However, he was very, very liberal, very, very progressive. It's possible that Rob Reiner himself was very outspoken against the death penalty. True. I don't know. I haven't looked into that specifically.
But also, as the DA, I know that this is just human nature, but shouldn't they be going for people based off of the crimes and not who is involved? The fact that a celebrity
That's right. But the crimes are certainly heinous enough in this circumstance to make the death penalty something available. You also consult with the family, which he mentioned during his press conference. They don't determine what move gets made. But if the family is like, we have 2 deaths, we don't want to also kill our brother, because his sister was the one that discovered the parents, you could see them saying, he's a sick individual. He's obviously very troubled, but we don't want a 3rd death in our family. It's a very, very complicated issue.
I mean, can you imagine? You're talking about, how everyone just in LA has been very heartbroken about the deaths and shocked. But not only did the family, especially the brother and the daughter, have to essentially like witness all this, but now they're going to have to do a whole trial with their brother and relive it for months and months and months.
It's horrendous. I mean, this is a worst case scenario kind of thing. It's also just around the holidays when times are typically family oriented and warm. They were at a Christmas party when this blowout fight apparently happened. This is a very, very sad story overall.
So the other big thing from yesterday was who showed up to defend Nick Reiner, which to be honest with you, I wasn't very shocked on one end because Alan Jackson.
He lawyered up big time. Alan Jackson is a big name in criminal defense, celebrity criminal defense. He just represented Karen Reed, got her off. Karen Reed was a bit of a hero, though. People were in her corner. At least a large segment of the population thought this was a cop conspiracy and she was wrongly charged.
I think that's untrue, but
that's fair. But there was a lot of momentum in favor of Karen Reed. It's a very different situation with Nick Reiner. He also represented Kevin Spacey,
who was very
charges, who was very hated during the Me Too movement and so forth. Those charges were dropped. So he's a very effective defense lawyer. Obviously, he's in that constellation of the biggest guys, Mark Agnifilo, who just represented Diddy, Karen Agnifilo, who represents Luigi Mangione. So like there are a handful of very high power, heavy hitter criminal defense attorneys, and he's in there. And this is a serious defense.
We got video yesterday of him showing up at the Brentwood home. Why I said I wasn't surprised is because he's obviously a very big attorney and he likes dealing with very high profile cases. So that doesn't surprise me that he would be involved. I guess what I was a little confused about was if I'm correct, he would be very expensive.
Very, very expensive.
So who exactly hired him? Because I don't really think, I don't know Nick's finances, but I don't know if he has the money on his own to afford Alan Jackson.
I would highly doubt it. I mean, we're speculating here whether Nick has access to some massive trust money. He was 32 years old, and when you're 32, sometimes you've come into money when you're 18. How the Reiners decided to distribute their money with a sort of ne'er-do-well son who had substance abuse issues. It's possible there were restrictions on access to funds like that. But I don't know. I do know that he's going to, it's a huge question, whether he's being paid, how much he's being paid, whether he's taking a discount.
Who reached out to him?
Who reached out. This is a very, very high profile case, and lawyers like to make their name and sort of keep themselves relevant. And so this will be an interesting case. Obviously, there's going to be sort of potentially sort of a drug-induced psychosis, kind of like, not guilty by reason of temporary insanity, things of that nature that are going to be sort of raised in this case. Maybe a Menendez brothers type defense. We don't know what he's got in store.
Are you, someone sent around yesterday that it's like there's a certain law where if you kill someone, you can't get the inheritance.
They call them Slayer laws.
Slayer law.
Yeah.
So there's like a whole thing online that like if he is convicted of these crimes, like
you can't access your parents' money.
Not going to see a dime. So that again just circles back to I just don't understand. I guess you need to know who's actually hired Alan, but I just don't understand how he's going to afford him.
It's going to be very difficult, or whether he's going to be asked to be paid the full amount. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the answer to those questions. Also, it complicates the collection of life insurance proceeds, Slayer laws. If there was any life insurance to be collected, you can't sort of kill the person that is sort of covered under the policy. So this is a very, very complicated case.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's in good hands if he's got him.
Yeah, and we will be seeing him today. Hopefully in court, not hopefully, but that's what we're being told is that the arraignment is gonna happen.
Yeah, the medical clearance is a matter of time. You do find a way to medically clear people either through a therapist or through these blood tests and urine tests with the drugs, and so he'll be arraigned, and you're going to see him in court. We've obviously now heard a lot of the details that prosecutors are putting together in terms of what happened. He sort of goes to the Conan O'Brien party. They have this blowout fight. It sounds like he may have been ejected from the home where he was living with the Reiners.
That makes the most sense.
Makes a lot of sense. He checks into a hotel room early Sunday, right? 4 a.m.
Yeah, 4 a.m. So that was actually a big story we broke, and I think a big piece of this, of everyone's trying to put together the timeline of after the Conan O'Brien party to when Nick allegedly killed his parents and then where he goes from there, right?
Yes.
So we had confirmed that story that he had checked in at 4 a.m. to the Pierside Hotel in Santa Monica. So now we actually just put up a story where we have a little more information on, kind of setting up that timeline. So,
but that Santa Monica hotel was before the slayings, correct? He checks in through the reception in the lobby. They say our sources are saying he looked a little tweaked out, a little off, but not covered in blood or anything like that.
Correct. So detectives arrived so that was on Sunday morning at 4 a.m. So then the following, you remember, the parents' bodies weren't discovered until 3 p.m. in the afternoon by the daughter.
So a large stretch of time.
Exactly. So now what we're learning is robbery homicide actually went to that Pierside Hotel at 1 a.m. on Monday. So obviously they were probably trying to track where his whereabouts were when they found out that he was obviously a suspect.
Because the sister, upon discovering the bodies, called the authorities and said, I think it is my brother and he's dangerous.
Correct. So when they show up at the hotel, they basically said they wanted to search this particular room 207, where he was staying. That's what the detective said. And they said they were searching for a murder weapon and additional evidence tied to the slayings of Rob and Michelle Reiner. So the crazy thing is that hotel staff actually believed that they may have cleaned up the room already and that they had disposed possibly of some evidence. We had reported that when one of the housekeepers was interviewed, she basically told police, yeah, I did discover some blood in the shower on bed sheets. And I think you think, oh, that why wouldn't you immediately report that? But if you're a housekeeper, in my mind, you see some crazy stuff in
hotel rooms have a lot of gross stuff.
And you're just like, okay, maybe this guy was bleeding all over himself. I'm going to clean this up and move on with my day. I wouldn't think I need to contact authorities, but that's basically what cops were looking for. What was this blood and blood?
Apparently the sheets were hung up
on the wall, or over the window, right. Probably I would assume, so people couldn't look in and see whatever the hell he was doing, because he was supposed to check out at on Sunday at 11 a.m. That's usually when hotel checkouts are,
but he didn't.
But he never did. He never checked out. They just, go up to his room and, start cleaning it up and whatnot. The other thing that we found out is that the hotel staff told police that he bought 4 non-alcoholic Heineken beers and a bottle of water from the lobby shop, which does track that he's sober. I guess the people thought maybe he didn't know if it was a non-alcoholic beer or not, but it's I would imagine this hotel lobby had alcohol, and I think maybe this may be just, I don't know what.
It's very interesting. I mean, then it sort of lends to the idea of what was in his system, or what is preventing the medical clearance. If it were drugs, if he's drinking non-alcoholic beer, he may have had drugs before then. It's unclear how all of this sort of fits together.
To me, it makes more sense that, okay, he goes and is getting wasted,
right.
But he's clearly still he's buying non-alcoholic beer, whether we think he did that on purpose or not.
4 is a lot of non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah,
it's an amount that you're not just scratching an itch, that you like the taste of beer.
I understand non-alcoholic beer. I get it for people who have substance abuse issues or alcohol problems, but it's does beer taste good, man?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would much rather have a fully loaded Coke.
I'm an iced tea man.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting for sure, and it just shows that the cops were. I feel like a lot of people give the LAPD a hard time with a lot of different cases. You're looking at the David case right now. It's the biggest thing. But in this case, I get it. They had a pretty obvious suspect, but I feel like they tracked him down pretty quickly.
I think that's right. These are extremely talented professionals in a very big city with very, sort of complicated cases all the time. I think it's pretty impressive in its own way. I want to talk a little bit about the activity at the party a little bit, because we did do there's been stories out about how Nick was behaving at this holiday party before the blowout fight with his parents that everyone sort of witnessed. And Bill Hader was apparently at the party as well. He's the SNL guy, very, very famous as well. And there were reports that Nick was going around and asking people strange questions, making them feel uncomfortable. He was saying, what's your first name? What's your last name? Are you famous? And apparently got into it a little bit with Bill Hader at the party.
So he was,
this could have caused some embarrassment by his parents and led to the fight. We don't know, but that's an idea.
It really seems like, and again, we're only just, talking to sources and kind of trying to put together a timeline. But to me, it really seems like they go to this Christmas party. He was acting extremely strange. And he's having a lot of weird interactions with people. He got into it with his dad. I know some people are trying to downplay the fight with his dad, but clearly people saw something happen at this party.
Yeah.
And I think just if you look at the chronological timeline, it seems to me like whatever happened at this party was a final straw, because he was living at their back house. And
he checks into a hotel.
At 4. the only thing that tells me is A, he got into a giant fight with them and was like, I don't even want to be around them, or B,
was kicked out.
Kicked him out.
Yeah.
He had nowhere else to go.
There were some reports, and obviously a lot of this is speculation, that they said it's rehab or get out. And he said, I'm not going to do rehab or something like that. So they said, get out. And did so even after this holiday party. So it's possible that that triggered him in some sort of way to commit these acts. This is all theorizing, though. This is, he's been charged, but you are innocent until proven guilty. It's a cornerstone of our criminal justice system. So we'll have to see how this sort of plays out.
Yeah, totally. And obviously we'll have a lot more tomorrow based off of what's said in court. I don't know how much is going to be said at the arraignment, but
should we go to some questions? We have digested a lot of information. There's another story out there, obviously the Warner Brothers and Netflix and Paramount deal, but go to the website. There's more information about that, but it feels like a strange pivot.
We'll stick to just Rob Reiner today.
Yeah.
So we'll take some questions. EHC Bunny for real. Bunny for real.
I like that.
IMO, it's a crime of passion. Nick didn't plan it. It doesn't deserve the death penalty.
This is interesting. He's been charged, obviously, with murder in the first degree. It is just a lesser offense, is what it is. Crime of passion is typically a manslaughter charge where you're not premeditated. It's in the heat of the moment when you're having a fight. It doesn't seem to line up with what happened here, where he goes to a hotel and then goes back. If it happened right after the Christmas party during a blowout fight in Rob Reiner's home, that would seem like more like a crime of passion, but that just doesn't seem to line up with.
What about it if he went back to the house the next day or the next morning? I know the DA said that this happened in the early morning.
And then they have a fight?
And then he went there to like patch things up, and then something happened.
Completely. We don't know the circumstances of what went on in that home. Were they sleeping? Was it pure cold-blooded murder? We don't know, and that will come out during the course of the prosecutors and law enforcement investigation and what they'll present to court.
Yep. The cherry on top 100. Will we hear probable cause info at this hearing?
So this is just an arraignment. Here's
your charges.
Here they're announcing the charges, and he will probably.
You think he'll plead not guilty?
They think they have probable cause to charge him, and that's why the prosecutors bring you into court and they arraign you on those charges, and he may submit a plea of, I suspect it will be not guilty.
And he's held no bail currently.
And he's held on no bail. He's considered quite dangerous. There was just some report that it might be a very high bail amount that he couldn't meet. But
originally,
I think it's
it was $4 million, and then it got changed to no bail.
So he will be held, but you will see him during an appearance. He will probably say very, very few words. You'll see Alan Jackson there, but I don't expect this will be a large probable cause hearing. I think it's going to be just.
I have a feeling Alan Jackson will say some stuff outside the courtroom.
I have a feeling there will be a microphone set up.
Yes, I'm just saying. If Nick has any remorse, he will plead guilty to avoid the DP and to spare his remaining family from going through a trial.
This is possible, I suppose, but death penalty?
Yeah.
DP is usually.
I've heard DP used for other things.
DP is usually an acronym that, So look, will he plead guilty? I think it's very, very unlikely. He has lawyered up with Alan Jackson. You don't lawyer up with someone of that caliber unless you're mounting some sort of a defense. And purely for leverage purposes, even if he had a public defender, a plea of not guilty is not uncommon. And then you sort of get to guilty through a negotiation with prosecutors. And that may happen with Alan Jackson. Alan Jackson's not going to want to lose a case that is so obviously tilted against his client. But we may get some indications of what he's planning from press conferences or what he says in court.
I'm interested because did you not I watched a lot of the Karen Reed documentaries and stuff.
I did too.
And his little whole war rooms where, I mean, he's
an incredible lawyer.
Like the strategies that he puts together. I'm just very interested to see which one he implements.
He's meticulous and he's playing chess. I don't think he has a conspiracy theory here that he can work with about cops covering up a murder, but he's got a lot to sort of look through in terms of the substance abuse history and the relationship between the parents and what happened in the house. There's still a lot to tease apart.
Yeah. Kimberly Luna, how is the other brother taking it? I can't imagine very well.
Yeah, no, this is fascinating. They had 3 children. Rob and Michelle had 3 children. Romy was the one who discovered the bodies.
Correct.
Obviously, Nick is the one who is arrested and charged with murder. Right? And then there's an older son named Jake. But we haven't heard from him. I haven't seen reports. Have you?
No.
I imagine it's a very, very difficult time in the family.
I'm assuming
Romy is traumatized, I'm sure.
The entire family has been, inundated with calls and stuff from not only only loved ones, but also from reporters. And as far as I've seen, no one from the immediate family has spoken publicly, or even, I don't even.
And he worked a bit in the industry, right, Jake?
Yes.
So I think there'll be this massive safety net of people in Hollywood, Billy Crystal, all the people that the Reiners touched during their life. Carl Reiner, his father, was a legend as well. So they will sort of swoop in.
They'll
make sure the kids are okay.
Exactly. They have
and they're not kids; they are adults. They're 28
and then I think
in their 30s.
He's in his 30s,
late 30s. Yeah.
Susie Q, is TMZ going to show the presser of Nick's court appearance? I'm looking for a live channel now. Why is LA? Oh God, that was asked. First, we'll get into this. I'm looking for, we are going to be showing a lot of coverage of the court appearance. I'm not exactly sure if they're allowing cameras in the court.
I don't know if there'll be cameras in the courtroom.
They'll allow a photo or a video maybe.
Yeah. Whatever is allowed, we will show.
Yes, for sure. Why is LA on his hat? So I get this all the time, my hat that I wear.
Oh.
So it's just a brand.
But it's not anti-Dodgers.
It means I'm like anti-LA. It's not the case. Charlie,
cool hat.
I like it. I really don't like wearing hats. It kind of seems kind of unprofessional, but we're here so damn early.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't.
You don't want to comb your hair. Yeah. Or you could just cut it like I cut it.
A lot of people were curious about your hat.
Yeah, so that's what it is. I've been confronted by hostile people about it before.
You should be wearing it.
Charlie isn't here today, but he texted me one time, like very concerned, saying someone came up to him to tell him to warn me that like I shouldn't wear this in certain neighborhoods.
Yeah, this is Dodgers country, man. And they are a juggernaut. They're a dynasty.
Dodger fan. I like the hat. It's just a style. This brand actually does like every logo upside down.
Right. It's not just a misprint.
So if you see me in this hat, I'm not anti-Dodgers or anti-LA.
You should be wearing a New York hat. We won the chip last night.
Dude, I was like, wait, did I miss something? The mid-season cup that no one cares about?
Hey, we're hanging that banner. We haven't won since the early 70s.
The fact that you're
to me, that's a chip. Okay,
that is so sad.
I am 45 years old, Devin. I've never seen a chip.
Congrats! You're gonna get an NBA Cup champion T-shirt.
I remember that.
I
remember the first when the Lakers won it, and people were so embarrassed when Lakers were celebrating at all because they're like, "You're the Lakers. You have the real ones hanging in the rafters. The Knicks don't have many of them."
It's embarrassing, dude.
Hey, we won the chip.
Oh my God.
Beat Wemby. All right.
Let's just end on that.
All right. We'll see you next time.
See ya. Go.